At this time, I'm going to turn the podium over to Mike Crute, who's going to talk about his radio station and wonderful things he's doing to get the word out there. Thanks, Mike, for being here.
Yeah, don't leave the bell with me. I'll keep giving angels wings. Good morning. My name's Mike Crute. And I'm not really a morning guy, so I apologize if this isn't coherent. But I do radio, and I like doing radio. It's my passion. And I was a businessman, and I turned my efforts full-time about 7 years ago to doing a radio show with my college roommates. We're called the Devil's Advocates, and Batman's a big fan. We're called the Devil's Advocates, and we did our show in Madison and a lot of Walker bashing and had a lot of fun with it, and we did it for about 5 years, and we actually thought we were on to bigger and better things, or at least additional things. We were heading into national syndication, and we're negotiating, who's going to pay the producer and all of those sort of things with our host, which was iHeartMedia. And 10 days before the election in 2016, they gave us notice, we're going to stop cashing your checks. First time anyone's ever told me that in my life. We were independent. We produced through them, and they had decided they were going to turn off the Mike 92.1 in Madison, and they did so the day that Donald Trump got elected. And they played Christmas music, and then they switched to some rewind format. So I had an obligation, and I started calling around and saying, hey, who wants to lease me a studio? Craig Karmazon, who went out eventually and bought WTMJ, said, well, I won't lease it to you, but I got radio stations you could buy. I said, okay, let me see what I could do. We put a deal together, and by February of 2017, February 1st, we went on the air in Madison, Milwaukee, at WRD 1510 AM. It's a 23,000-watt AM station. That's a lot of power. Covers a big geographic chunk, but where it doesn't cover is the town I live in, which is Madison, Wisconsin. So about this time last year, and we have broadcast out here at the Wisconsin Grassroots Network, I want to say 4 or 5 years in a row. Earl Ingram Jr., you'll see him. He'll be broadcasting in the lobby a little bit later, starting at noon today. And that will play out not just in Milwaukee and the surrounding areas, but that's also going to play out on WTTN 1580 AM, which I made a deal on about a year ago at this time, because I found out that station was eligible for an FM license. And that's really what I wanted. I want an FM license. I want a nice, clear signal in the town I live in, and that's Madison, Wisconsin. Well, it's taken me a year since then. We have the license. We have built a studio out on the west side of Madison just in the last 2 weeks, and we are building, and I'm still waiting for the antenna to ship, but as soon as the antenna ships, we put it up the flagpole, and literally we'll be on the air that day. And that will feel like the greatest achievement of my life because it's taken a lot of steps to get here, but that will be within the next 30 days. And we will be on the air, ironically, second adjacent, it's called in the radio business, we will be on the air at 92.7 FM. We will be on the very same flagpole as 92.1 in Sun Prairie. So if you could hear the Mike 92.1, you should be able to hear us just fine. We will have nearly identical signal to what they had. And we'll be at the same height, and it will be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of clear signal. And in the meantime, I think we're doing better radio than they ever did at the Mike. The only local show, I think why we had the good fortune of being popular was we're the only ones doing Wisconsin-centric politics from the left. And when we came on the air, I wanted what we were giving Wisconsin because no one was giving it to me. And so it was easy to succeed, at least in the Madison market. It's been a little longer road in Milwaukee. I have yet to figure out a way to make money in Milwaukee. I'm still working on that really hard. But I have no doubt people are lining up, and if any of you are small business owners, I'll leave you a card or come see me because we do need allies. It is commercial radio. I'm not community radio. It's really my family and a few small partners, but literally it's my family, 2 stations. And that's way more risk than my wife ever wanted me to take. But we are on the cusp of something good. And while I'm not going to tell you that we shape the outcome of the midterm elections, although I think we shape some of the conversations of the midterm elections, what I will tell you, much like yard signs make it okay for you see the Bernie sign or you see the Neubauer sign, and you think, good, my neighbor thinks like I do. And when it's only right-wing talk radio, and in the state of Wisconsin, there was an article in the Cap Times in the last year, there are 81 right-wing talk radio stations in the state of Wisconsin. They crank out 235 hours a day of what is effectively propaganda for Donald Trump and Scott Walker and Robin Voss and Scott Fitzgerald. And then there's little old us. And there used to be 3 hours a day of local content. It was me and my college roommate, Dominic. We are now, effective April 1st, we'll be putting out 10 hours a day of Wisconsin-centric politics. So that's a lot more than one man's efforts. I didn't build it alone. I might have financed most of it, but there's a lot of people that have given blood, sweat, and tears and have not been fairly compensated. A lot of people are rowing in the same direction to make this happen. We've got the barest bones. We can be profitable at a very low threshold because I did poor man's radio. I bought these AMs knowing that I could get FMs. And most recently, we found out in the city of Milwaukee, there's a big convention coming. Well, as fate would have it, we're 1.2 miles from the convention site. So, I don't know if anyone watches South Park, that very profane show on Comedy Central, but the underwear gnomes, they have 3 steps. And step 1 is steal underwear. And step 3 is profit. And step 2 is we don't know. Well, right now, step 1 is the DNC is coming to Milwaukee. And step 3 is profit, I hope. But I don't know what step 2 is. But I can tell you, we are giving people an alternative. And all my guys, they don't have to think like me. They don't have to do exactly what I do. They're not all guys. We've got Brandy Grayson from Black Lives Matter. She is starting a new show that launches here next Friday. We've got the Milwaukee County Corporate Counsel, a very intelligent lawyer lady named Maggie Dawn. She'll also be doing a show. We have State Rep Joe Costa-Zamaripa. She contributes a show each week. We've got Earl Ingram, who you may not know, but was a long-time Milwaukee host. He's doing the morning show, and he'll be the one broadcasting here in the lobby today. We have Sherwin Hughes, who was with 860 AM in Milwaukee, which is the African-American station there. And I will tell you, you don't have to love every single host. But what I am doing is we're providing a variety of differing viewpoints for blacks, for whites, for women, for men, and hopefully for independents and liberals. And I know I'm never going to talk Mark Belling or Rush Limbaugh's audience into loving me. And I'm not going to convince them to come vote for Bernie Sanders. But there are a lot of influenceable people. There are a lot of reasonable middle grounders who are kind of sick of some of the polarization. And if we tell them on the radio, hey, it's okay. There's more than just you. Not everyone's here today. It's a nice day. Some people are going to be outside enjoying the day. But you know what? There's a lot of us out here, and I think there's probably more of us than there are of them. So can't we please support the 2 progressive talk radio stations in the state of Wisconsin? Again, they're 1510 AM, 1580 AM. We'll be on the air in Madison, 92.7 FM here in the month of April. And we'll broadcast today. We'll broadcast at the DPW. We'll be at the presidential debates, which I don't know if anyone noticed. That starts in June of this year. And we'll be live broadcasting from those debate sites. And I bet you that Dominic and I will be the only ones, because we were the only ones. We were Radio Row at the presidential, the first one in Vegas. We were in Brooklyn. We were in the caucus states. We were in Michigan, Indiana, California, New York. And that's exactly where I think radio should be. We should be exactly where these candidates are. And you know what? Wisconsin, between March 17th of next year, 2020, that's Michigan. And then we are the only state on the primary map until April 7th. And then it's just us. We are the center of the political universe before the convention comes to town. And they all got to come, I hope, to the only guy doing left-wing talk radio in the state of Wisconsin.